Humanity was the laughing stock of the galaxy until the terrifying armored warriors emerged from the shadows of the Earth and conquered Andromeda's Mount Lewis, calling her from the bottom of an empty whiskey glass with his scarred fists attached to the white, noisy orange Andromeda. He didn't notice that he was hiding among the MCs at the dive bar, drunkenly shouting about their easy conquest of weak people's failures, and Lou was enraged, ready to jump over and snap their scaly necks, slaughtering Plato. The ghost begs for revenge. He thought about Kyle. The Andromedan ringleader was lying in a pool of orange blood, shock frozen on his reptilian face as Lou stood over him in the terrace's secret exoskeleton. Armor no alien had yet seen the sleek, destructive suits humanity played the long game. Let the arrogant galaxy think they are weak. Let them laugh, and the Andromedans will take their last breath. It is estimated that serious errors in Lewis risks have issued encryption information. Lieutenant Mountain, your unique skills are important for secret missions. The future of the galaxy may depend on it. He slid the muscular volumes from the stool, leaned on the hanger, and found the Fanatic server and inertia stabilizer hidden in the boat. The fairy tale will remain in their laughter. Now he has a mission. The horror is complete. The hidden galaxy can learn what humanity is made of, though Louis has to instill it in each alien himself. These coordinates lead Lewis to the edge of the Kuiper Belt, just a few light hours away from any inhabited galaxy. He guided the Foxfire through a dense field of melting asteroid scanners, straining to find the energy signature of the mining rig amidst the noise. After 10 hours of silent running, a tarnished steel structure emerged from the void, and an abandoned titanium refinery clinging to the shattered planetoid Lucia brought his ship into a hollow bay, noting the thick layer of dust that covered every surface. No one had set foot here in years, maybe decades. He opened the hatch and dropped to the deck. The dull clatter of Lewis's boots echoed around the room as he walked towards the airlock, one hand resting on a plasma pistol on his hip, the inner door standing open to reveal a dark corridor lit only by a faint red glow. He followed the map Zoran had sent to the central hub of the space station. As Lou entered the main room, a blue hologram flashed in the center of the room. It was Counselor Zoran and the cruel Lieutenant Hill. "Thank you for coming. So quickly. I'm afraid the situation is even more dire than we feared." Lou holstered his weapon and approached the projection. I listened to the counselor. The eyes of the Opsilon hologram stared at him. "Who is it?" "We have received intelligence that the Andromedans have developed a new superweapon capable of destroying entire star systems. Our spies believe that the only prototype is hidden in a top-secret research facility on Louise's Andromeda homeworld and whisper the nightmares of the planet's killers. Theoretical horror will never be realized, so you need me to penetrate into the range of facilities captured. The weapon is not completely. Zoran said that your task has slipped away. The complete technical schematic diagram of the device has been obtained, and the prototype has been destroyed. We need this data if we have hope of developing a countermeasure with respect to crushing Lewis." "Mister, this sounds like the work of a parliamentary ghost rather than a single man." The reason my hologram glowed as Zoran leaned forward was that Lieutenant Andromeda had deployed a new type of security zone around the base that disrupted all known cloaking technology and energy weapons. In addition, decades ago, he interrupted all the consequences, and your people secretly developed an exoskeleton that covered wear and improved its physical abilities. This technology is hidden from a wider galaxy and crisis reserves. Just like that, Lewis's blood ran cold. The leaders of Terra have long feared that if other races fully mastered Earth's military capabilities, they would plot the destruction of humanity. The exoskeleton armor is their last trump card, which can only be used when the survival of the species is threatened. Zoran looked at her seriously. "I won't lie to you, Lieutenant. This is a trip down one road. The opportunity to be active in the world of Andromedan is very small, but if you succeed, you will save billions of people's lives and suffer seriously from the Fiend's war." He leaned his face back. "The softening of the choice is up to you. Of course, we wouldn't blame you for abandoning the suicide mission, but there was no choice as Louis didn't think about her siblings bleeding in the mud a dozen worlds away." Scoffing the laughter and random cruelty from Andromeda's soldiers in that bar, he thought of the oaths he had sworn and the duty he could never swear. His jaw clenched as he waved one arrow at Zoran. The secret transport then whisked Louis off to a hidden base hidden on the moon's marked surface, where he entered a research facility and passed through several security checkpoints to verify his biometric information and security clearance. Finally, he was ushered into a high-tech lab, where a wiry, bespectacled man with wild gray hair greeted him with a wry grin. This was Dr. Hideki Nakamura, the eccentric genius, who had spearheaded the development of humanity's most cutting-edge weapons. "Lieutenant Hill, welcome. Your armor awaits," Nakamura said, gesturing to a polished jet-black exoskeleton suspended in a transparent cylinder. Louis turned to see the suit with concerns and congestion from the technician team. They swarmed around Louis, suitable for him, with obsidic armor piece by piece as they worked. "Nakamura got rid of the suit, and you will be invisible to all known feelings. Servo motors will expand your endurance 5 times. It is an integrated reactive backpack that provides a flying function, all of which is controlled by the neural interface that directly responds to your opinion." Louis folded his webbed hands as he felt a hum of power coursing through the exoskeleton. In training, it felt like a second skin, responsive and intuitive. Bay Louise put the armor through its paces under Nakamura's watchful eye. He leapt 30 feet straight up, leaving him in the steel-reinforced ceiling. He darted across the room in the blink of an eye, moving faster than humanly possible. And just as he thought he had activated his invisibility cloak and disappeared from view, Nakamura's voice boomed over the communicator. "Aren't you capable of anything with this armor? The fairy tale can throw it at you." LS stopped the shell, turned to scientists, and a violent smile shared his face. They wouldn't know what hit them. A week later, Lou sat in the cockpit of the Foxfire as it hurtled through space toward the home planet of Andromeda. His armor was stored in the spaceship's small cargo hold, ready to be revealed whenever the planet's atmosphere lifted. A group of Andromedan warriors rose to greet him. Their plasma cannons lit up the void, and Louis activated the Foxfire's autopilot and slid out of the pilot's seat. He climbed into the hold, quickly donning the armor that wrapped around him like a second skin, and took a deep breath. Flying through the air, leaping into space, and activating his cape and plane, Louis transforms into a ghost, hurtling through the chaos of air combat. Andromeda's ships swooped and circled around him, engaging Foxfire's automated defenses, but Louis ignored them. When he enters the atmosphere, his target is the surface of the planet. Leah Louis killed her reactive backpack and turned into an invisible meteor on the ground. When he got stuck, the wind screamed at him. The facility's force field shimmered in the view below in its final moments. The other Louis reactivates his jetpack and quickly slows down. He hits the ground with a 3-point crouch. The armor's shock absorbers absorbed the impact as it rose up to his feet. He approached the rippled energy barrier and pressed his armored palm against the barrier. The suit system emits literal pulses that analyze the force fields and composition for tense moments. High flashed green. The field was neutralized. Leith charged forward, breaking through the reinforced walls as if they were made of paper sirens. Andromedan soldiers poured into the corridors, firing plasma rifles, but the bullets ricocheted off Louis' armor, leaving him unharmed. He tore through the guards like a human wrecking ball, moving faster than their eyes could track, and the Andromeda bodies collapsing, Louis crashing through their ranks, unstoppable. He exploded through the sealed bang door and the top of the cabin, waking up leaving a distorted metal and repair body. Armor makes him feel invincible with speed and durability. Far beyond any normal, Soldier Louis cut a swath of destruction through the facility, rapidly closing in on his target, but he knew the real challenge still lay ahead. Louis burst into the central laboratory. His armor was a solid light, a darkened camera with a scary green glow, hanging in the shining enclosure field, flying the Andromedan superweapon, the throbbing scream sphere, and the dark energy that seemed to drink it in the light. Louis did not waste time. Against the nearby control panel, he flew tight fingers above the holographic interface when he began downloading weapons forms on the computer. Suddenly, they exploded behind him inward with a touching explosion and sent twisted metal cuts through the air. Turning to see how Killer marked the room with hatred when he was harsh, "I knew that this bar human was something for you. What about you is something about what about you is something about what about you is about you." Something about you is something for you. Hate is something about you. About what about you? Something about you. In the area, your kindness has always been too nosy for your own good. Lou smirked beneath his helmet, adrenaline surging through his veins, and your kind never could resist the chance to gloat. That's why you'll always underestimate us. With a roar of fury, Kel lunged at Lewis, his armored fist cocked back for a devastating blow, but Lewis was ready for him. He dove beneath the punch and retaliated with a lightning-fast uppercut that slammed into Kel's chin with enough force to shatter concrete. Andromedan staggered back, momentarily stunned. The two armed titaniums were in conflict with the hurricane strike and hit their movements with speed and power. Lewis darts expresses his overall dexterity, forcing him to avoid the van. The impact wave is driven by Lewis' armor as they grab Carl's eyes and fall on the control panel. We've already begun. In mass production in a week, we will have an armada of ships equipped with this weapon. The galaxy will kneel before the Andromeda Empire. Used to would you be okay if they had nowhere to run? Spray out. Kyle's eyes widened in realization, but it was too late. Louis armed the projectile and slammed it into Andromedan's chest plate. Then, with a powerful thump, separating from the claw and winging skyward through the jetpack's exhaust, the projectile detonated in a blinding flash, plunging Kel into a rustling ball. The plasma Andromedan's scream of agony echoed across the landscape as he disappeared into the inferno. Louis didn't stop to enjoy the victory. He darted back into the lab, grabbing the finished data disk from the control panel, then turned the gun on the containment field. The plasma generator's bolts tore through the delicate machinery and destabilized the scene. The alarm started to shake, and he rushed out of the building as fast as he could. From orbit, Lewis saw a mushroom cloud rise above the abandoned base. With a grim smile on his face, he opened a secure channel to the Galactic Council and reported the mission accomplished. I have the weapon schematics transmitting. Data now flows through encrypted links, which is key to humanity's survival against the Andromedan threat. Lewis grimly adds that the Andromedans are bluffing, claiming they have a fleet ready, and that the explosion will attract the attention of all Andromedan soldiers within a 100-mile radius. He paused with armored fingers. Get a tighter grip on Foxfire, and I'll lead them on a fun chase while you prepare our defenses and give them hell. Cutting the transmission, heading towards Andromeda and the Space Center, slamming the throttle, and firing the Foxfire's forward engines at full blast, Lewis howled and leaned back in his chair with a determined expression on his face. The real battle is about to begin. He starts a war. Louis leaves a burning trail through the Andromeda fleet. Foxfire's engines screech, and as he pushes the ship to its limits, a superweapon is stolen. An explosion takes over the secret base, and a miniature supernova lights up the dark side of Earth. A cold satisfaction courses through Lou's veins. The Andromedans will think twice before underestimating humanity and rushing closer to the nearest human outpost again. Louis broadcasts his AMAC cam footage on all frequencies, a declaration of war stronger than any word in the galaxy. News spreads faster than light. Fairy tales. The day's weapon destroyed their invincible, compressed, fearless person and set fire to the spark of hope in the heart of the oppressed man in the 12 worlds. The human rebels burst from hidden power, armor protecting them, as they attacked the Andromedan garrison. Plasma fire lit up the night of the rebellion. Mankind's rage and Andromeda's shock. Soldiers are disciplined in brutal close combat, and Louis Amac's camera lens raises the battle cry, a flag of defiance. In the hidden moon base, Dr. Nakamura elaborately decoded the theme of the theft. This is the best mine on the planet. With the counterattack with the fairy weapon, Zoran's holographic diagram was ignored. When he coordinated the reaction of the Galaxy Commission, the mass group of an alliance attacked the center of the Fairy Empire and the cutting edge of Spear Louis. For the army, he once spit the supreme face of the fairy seat, and Zwalan himself showed his new order to Louis. The tenacity was the most advanced warship made by human hands. His face, when he accepted the feeling of a liar, was the core of the power of the liar on a powerful ship. The Andromedans had turned the wind. Now they would reap the whirlwind. The League fleet, which was created by the League when he stubbornly led the Alliance's fleet while pierced by the FE room, the outside world failed more quickly. Then the capital of the Earth. The battle reached a point full of suffering for the Andromedans, with the Northwest and Coalition cruisers tearing into each other, with beams of glowing energy and warriors swarming between them like angry hornets. At the center of the maelstrom, Louis and the Unstoppables danced a deadly waltz, human flagships and experimental weapons cutting a path of destruction through the enemy ranks. The bridge's field of vision polarized. The decks shook beneath Louis's boots as the plasma blade whizzed over the approaching alarm's unyielding bow shields as the ship turned toward the attackers. In front of him, the blood on Louis's face was faintly visible. It was the flagship of the Andromeda, a monstrous and towering monster with enough firepower to turn a continent to slag, with a man from a nightmare at its helm. Emperor Andromeda was dressed in magnificent golden armor, malice glinting in his reptilian eyes. Ludwig felt the weight of fate pressing down on his shoulders, and the Emperor's cold and taunting voice echoed through the communication channel. You fought bravely as humans, but your resistance ended there. Surrender, and you will soon die. Resist me, and you will suffer unimaginable pain before you die. Louis responded with a barrage of quantum torpedoes that rocked the Andromeda flagship. The Emperor's roar shook the stars as he turned to the fire. The two Titans, who candidate for the last confrontation, crushed Louis's teeth because of the unbridled anxiety and bent anxiety. Reports of damage abound. The floods in the Empire were strong, but Louis was stronger. He had to have the human and Andromedan crew watch in stunned silence as the two flagships hit each other's energy shields, their hulls bursting and failing, straining and burning. It was a duel of wills and weapons to see who would break man or machine first. In the end, it was the Emperor who caved in with the final cataclysmic volley. The stubborn gun found its own mark. Ferry's flagship shop was separated into a fascinating fireball. Victory, and even when the Cactus fleet was spread and the common troops rushed into the ground, Louis couldn't shake the feeling of Boeing. Everything is too easy. The Emperor was a man of many talents, but he was no fool either. He wouldn't have put everything on the line for a single battle, unless Lou's blood curdled when the realization hit him that the Emperor's surrender had been a ruse to lure the Coalition fleet into the jaws of a trap. There was already another superweapon under the Andromedan castle. Its energetic signal, its dark and hungry pulsation, resembles the pulsation of an evil heart, just like Dr. Nakamura's face turns to ash as his hologram condenses on the unforgiving Louis Bridge. I have never seen a reading like this. If that device reaches full power, it will tear apart the fabric of spacetime itself, and half the galaxy will be consumed. You have to stop that. Lou felt the weight of billions of lives weighing down on him. He knew what he had to do. There is no time to say goodbye, no time to regret. He channels the entire fleet with his voice, steady and ready for all ships. This is Commander's Hill. Retreat to the smallest safe distance. All ships evacuate in protest. Louis begs him to reconsider and offers to accompany him on this final, fateful mission, but Louis uses silenced gaze. For them, when the fleet reluctantly retreated, the burden rested solely on him.
Elle fit raide.
The inexorable thrusters pointed the bow of the ship directly at the pulsating center near Andromeda and the Citadel. The alarm screamed, the entire temperature rising above the red line as he hurtled through the atmosphere. The friction flames streaked, and the site of the castle appeared in front of him, a monument to Andromedan cruelty. Louis felt a strange sense of peace wash over him, a clarity of purpose he had never known before, that this was his destiny. This is what he was born to do. He whispered a final prayer to the god of war and turned the throttle to full. You have reached the end of your story. If you like this story and want to support us, please press like and subscribe to our channel. For each comment, I will appreciate each one. Thank you for your time.